The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets women's track team is coming off of an impressive spring with an All-American performance by Kelly Brennan. Even more impressive was the distance team's fall season of cross country, where the women secured the first Great Lakes Regional Championship in men's or women's program history and an automatic bid to the national championships in Williconnie, Wisconsin. Other athletes to note are multiple-time all-conference performers junior Brooke Buchanan and senior Bella Pendola, as well as junior Katie Fowler and freshman Amanda Milo, Maddie Neitzel, and Alyssa Lochner. This team is stacked and ready to roll. As mentioned, the women's team had a phenomenal fall on the cross-country course and on the track training for the start of winter track. The Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets men's track team is coming off of a bit of a rough patch with a 6th place finish at OACs. However, there is some promise in both throws and on the distance side. Ted Akalaitis threw at his first national meet, and returning for his final season is thrower Zach Dysert. On the distance side of things, in Shelbyville, Indiana, the men's cracked the top 10 in the Great Lakes region, in the first time since the year 2000. The distance crew was led by junior Isaac Wilson and senior Spencer Mahan. Other returners to note on the men's side are seniors Milton Woods and Brendan Cole, sophomores Josh Hickmont, Spencer Roberts. They will be supported by freshmen Joe Judah, Nate Matthews, Drew Kopchak, and David Pranther. The question going forward for both sides are separate questions. Can the women's team continue the story that they wrote in the fall with a conference championship in the winter and get another All-American performance from Kelly Brennan? And on the men's side, can getting Zach Dysert back for his final go-around as a Yellow Jacket help catapult the men into the top 3? They start this journey in Westerville, Ohio at Otterbein University at the Dave Lamont Invitational. On the women's side, All-American Kelly Brennan opens the season with some fireworks by setting a meet record as well as a school record in the 5,000 meter run with a time of 17 minutes 26.35 seconds. Senior Grace Nemeth starts her final sprints as a Yellow Jacket with an 8.10 60-meter clocking, good to score 3rd place. Nemeth would come back later in the meet to score 10 more points in the 200-meter dash, winning in a time of 26.16 seconds over Otterbein's Gracie Dennison. Amanda Milo also scored in her NCAA debut with a 6th place finish in a time of 27.35 seconds. In the mid-distance events, Katie Fowler and freshman Natalie Vinci opened their season by scoring for the Yellow Jackets 6th place and 5th place respectively in the 500 meters. Kelly would return in the 800-meter run to score 6 points. Vinci and Fowler would upgrade to 5th and 4th place later in the meets. In the 1,000-meter run, in 60-meter hurdle action, Amanda Milo ran a phenomenal NCAA opener in 9.16 seconds, good for 2nd place. In the field, starting in shot put, Brooke Buchanan opens with a 4th place throw, and Jill Roberts was runner-up. Brooke followed that up with a 4th place in a weights throw. On the men's side, sophomore Josh Hickmont starts his sophomore season with a 4-minute 35.38 clocking in the mile. Senior Brendan Cole, who got his season started with 7th place in the 400-meter in 53.76. Freshman Drew Kopchak gets his career rolling with a pair of 24.50s in the 200-meter dash. Cole would finish with a 24.51. Freshman Nate Matthews starts off his career in the 500-meter with a time of 1 minute 09.48 seconds, good for 4th place, and a spot in the OAC meet. Freshman David Prather gets into the OAC meets with a time of 2 minutes 42.38 seconds. Senior Spencer Mahan starts his last lap as a Yellow Jacket athlete with a very promising 9 minutes 13.02 clocking in the 3,000 meter run. A big-time PR for him to start 2019. He just misses out on a spot at OACs. Different story for junior Isaac Wilson, though. He will be in Ada as he scores an OEC mark at 9 minutes and 6.08 seconds. Next week, Otterbein comes up north to invade Baldwin Wallace's Harrison Dillard track, Dr. Tereski Team Challenge. A meet that features Otterbein, Baldwin Wallace from the OAC, Oberlin, and Ohio Wesleyan from the NCAC. Lastly, Calvin and Albion from the MIAA. This meet was given a bit of flair this year as Calvin and Otterbein's men have been at the top of the Great Lakes region for cross-country prior to this meeting. On the women's side, this meet features some solid competition as both BW and Otterbein went to the Nationals in the fall during cross-country, and Albion's Casey Vence made an appearance as well. Cote stated that this is a meet that he's wanted to have for a while now, and it was set up to be very competitive, with heated men's races, specifically the men's 5K, in which Mahan is going to try to hit his first ever indoor standard for OACs. On the women's side, Ebby stated that the women's side would have a competitive mile and 3,000 meter run and very competitive sprints. In the women's events, a host of Yellow Jackets helped tally some huge points. Grace Nemeth with third in the 55 meters and second in the 200 meter. Amanda Milo with 6th in the 55 and 5th in the 200 meter. Kylie Allen helping out big time with 8 points for the Jackets in the 400 meter run in 1 minute 03.02 seconds. Katie Fowler adds 6 more in the 800 meters with a 3rd place finish. Kelly Brennan winning the 3,000 meter in 10 minutes 24 seconds, comes back in the mile later to finish 4th. Bella Pendola was runner-up in the 3,000 meter run and was 5th. Freshman was 4th. To add on to an impressive day for the ladies distance team. In the field, Jess Edwards with 3rd in the triple, adding 6 huge points to the Yellow Jackets total. Brooke Buchanan keeps her strong indoor campaign going with a win in the weight throw and a 4th in shot put. On the men's side, Brendan Cole scored points in both the 200 and 400 meter dash. Freshman Nate Matthews continues his hot starts to the season with a 400 with 3rd place in the 400 meters. Freshman 800 meter specialist David Prather with a 2:03.23 second clocking scores 5th place. Junior Robbie Becker also scored 5th place points in the 55 meter high hurdles. Jumping briefly into the field events, a trio of Jackets scoring points. Ted Akalaitis with 2nd in shot puts and 5th in weight throw. Zach Dysert wins weight throw and finishes 3rd in shot put. And Milton Woods with 6th in the weight throw. Back to the track for the most anticipated event on the track, the men's 5,000 meter run. For the Jackets, Josh Hickmont scores a few points for the Yellow Jackets with a 7th place finish in 15 minutes 42 seconds. As the senior Spencer Mahan, he finally punches his ticket to an indoor OAC meet as he runs 16 minutes 0.17 seconds, something he is certainly ecstatic for in his last year as a Yellow Jackets. The 10,000 meter specialist noted in one of the 2 pieces to be shown later that this was a big deal for him to hit his standard. A week later, after a big trip to Michigan, the Jackets come back home to Ohio where the team was split. Some people race at All Ohio and some race at the mid-February Open. On the women's side, with most of the key athletes taking mid-February off to compete at All Ohio the next day, the Yellow Jackets still took advantage of a great opportunity. Freshman Nina Curry was 4th in the 200. Katie Fowler, an integral part of the DMR, at All Ohio ran both meets and was fourth in the 400-meter dash. On this night, Rebecca Penrose ran well in her pair of events, taking third in both events. Natalie Vinci, a freshman, was second in the 800. A pair of 10,000-meter specialists were third and fifth in the 5,000-meter run, with Jenna Dubal and Megan Vaughn, respectively. Also, in the 5K, a pair of steeplers took home fourth and sixth in Lexi Smith and Jordan Descani. In the field, Abby Litowicki took a break from pole vaulting to triple jump. She scored 8th place points for the Yellow Jackets. On the men's side, Drew Kopchek was 5th in the 55-meter dash. Brandon Cole also ran both meets, was 4th in the 400-meter. Joe Judah stepped up to the plates big time with 5th in the mile and 4th in the 1,000-meter run. Briefly to the field events, Milton Woods was 7th in shot put. Back to the track, Andrew Krupp with his second ticket punch to Ada. This one in the 3,000 meters as he punched his ticket in Michigan in the 5K. He ran the 1,200-meter leg of a DMR at All Ohio. Spencer Roberts, a steeple in the mid-distance specialist, just misses out on OACs as he ran a 9-minute 11.80 second. The standard is 9 minutes 11.76 seconds. Jose Reynoso also missed out on the standard. He ran 9 minutes 13.41 seconds. For Spencer Mahan, this was his most crushing race yet. For the third time this season, he runs just outside the standard. He sits down with us before one of his practices during outdoor season to talk about it.
Biggest challenge I faced was just trying to, at least on the track, match everything up to where I should be. Not everything clicked. Everything fitness-wise was there. Mentally, most times it wasn't. But when it was there, everything clicked and I ran really well. I only saw sparks of that. And that was the really frustrating part about the indoor season for me, as in the 3K, I ran 9:13 to open the season, and then I ran 9:14 at Hillsdale, and then I ran another 9:13 the day before All Ohio in mid-February.
After further competitive sharpening and training, Baldwin Wallace travels to Ada for the OAC Indoor Track and Field Championships, hosted by Ohio Northern. Both the men and women hope to finish high in the conference. On one day, finals were held in the weight throw, long jump, and pole vaults in the field. On the track, there were finals for the 5,000-meter run and the distance medley relay. First to the field, Brooke Buchanan and Zach Dysert won the weight throw. Milton Woods was 6th. Ted Akalaitis was 10th. On the track, the 5,000-meter run. The women's 5K was won by Otterbeин's Claire Lamb. Kelly Brennan kicked off her meet with a runner-up finish. Lochner was 4th and Pendola was 5th, scoring 17 total points from the 5K on the women's side. The men's race was a tactical affair with no one willing to take the bait to start the race. The race at one point was projected to be slower than the women's race. Mahan charged to the front 2,200 meters and held the lead for 800 meters. And that's when the race started. Mahan fell out of contention quickly, as did the Yellow Jackets. Hickmott was 13th, Mahan 16th, Krupp 17th, Wilson 18th, and Roberts 19th. Mahan also sat down to talk about the men's 5K.
The men's 5K was... It was tough. It was really tough to handle. A lot of my friends on other teams were not really happy with the way it shook out. There were a lot of words thrown around that I'm not going to use that could better describe this race in my eyes. It was just a very frustrating experience knowing that none of us are really kickers, and we pretty much let it evolve into a kicker's race. That's still frustrating to myself, my teammates, and my coaching staff. I'm still reminded to this day by Coach Freeman that, we let the men's 5K turn into a tactical affair.
Capping off day one was the DMR scoring 5th place points, fueled by a team effort and a huge 1,600-meter anchor leg from freshman standouts, to be Joe Judah. On day 2, the finals of the rest of the events on the track program were slated. The field finals were shot put, high jump, and triple jump. In the fields, Jessica Edwards finishes off her senior campaign indoors with 7th in the triple jump. In shot put, Brooke Buchanan earns an all-OAC in shot put with a 2nd place finish. On the men's side in shot put, Ted Akalaitis and Zach Dizer were 4th and 5th, while senior Milton Woods was 10th. On the track, women's 4x200 was 4th, as was the same case with the men's 4x200. In the women's mile, Brennan has another all-OAC honor to add to her name with a 3rd place finish. Not far behind was Bella Pendola and Madison Kyle, who were 4th and 6th respectively. In the men's mile, Joe Judah was 9th, was his first sub-4:30 clocking. In women's 60-meter hurdles, Amanda Milo continued her incredible freshman year with an OAC championship. In the women's 400, Kylie Allen helps out the Jackets with 8th place. Later on in the meets, it was time for Grace Nemeth to emerge after qualifying for the 60-meter finals and 200-meter finals. In the 60 meters, she was just off the podium with 4th place. Kelly Brennan just misses out on her 3rd All-OAC honor with a 4th place finish. David Prather stretches across 5th place points on the men's side. Rebecca Penrose scratched across an 8th place in the women's 1,000-meter run. Nemeth comes back later on the 200-meter dash, convincingly winning an OAC championship in the events. In the 3,000-meter run, Pendola and Lochner double back to score an all-OAC honor in 3rd place and 5th place, respectively. Andrew Krupp ran a huge PR and broke 9 minutes for the first time. The women were comfortably sealed in 4th place going into the 4x400, while the men were fighting for 5th with Heidelberg going into the final events. The women were 6th in the 4x400, finishing with 4th place points at 113 points. A well-earned spot just outside of 3rd place, which was held by John Carroll. The men had to beat Heidelberg in their heats and hope that they could sneak into podium position. Heidelberg knocked them off, and that sealed BW's fates in 6th place with 38 points. Both sides fell just short of their goals, but learned valuable lessons. The men's side learned that they need to pay a little bit better attention to detail in championship scenarios. The men's long-distance crew learned their strengths is pressing from the gun, something Mahan and his crew is strong with as 10,000-meter specialist. The women's team had an amazing meet. Some teams just had a better day. Mahan sat down with us one last time to talk outdoor season and what he hopes to accomplish.
With outdoor, there's a lot more events that are more my specialty, the 10,000 meters specifically. I think I'm going to set myself up really well for that since training since indoor has gone really well in terms of where my 5K time is at the end of the indoor season at high 1550s. I think it's 1557. But like I said, I'm really high on the 10K. I think I'm going to have a really good opportunity to score high and score some big move-up points for my team. And after the conference 5K, I talked to a lot of the guys, like I mentioned, and we want this 10K to be honest and fast, and that's going to play a lot more to my strength and my team's strength, which is going to be exciting. And I know that having 3 other guys around me is going to be a huge help. 3 other guys that love to do the same thing that I do day in and day out. We're grinders, essentially. We
form our program based on the Berea Quarries. We talk a lot about that. The Grindstone Award is one of the most coveted awards we have, and that goes to someone who brings the it factor to practice every day. That's what I hope to bring to this team during the outdoor season and during the conference meet, especially since I'm going to be running the 10 and 5 double again. So that's my hopes for the outdoor season and my hopes of finishing up my career at either Harrison Dillard, North Central, or at a national meet. Who knows where this season is going to take me? And man, I'm just ready to step outside and get some stuff done out on the outdoor track. Okay, so I do have a lot of people to thank. First, I want to thank you, Dwayne, for all your help and advice throughout this project and helping all of us work through these projects. I want to thank my narrator and co-producer Josh Kuski for all the work that he put in. He had some of the film work throughout the movie as he was there during both of my home meets this year. I want to thank my team. I want to thank my coaching staff, Coach Joe Eby, Coach Jordan Hill, Coach Evan Freeman. I want to thank Coach Evan Freeman for some of the training footage that you saw here throughout. I want to thank Coach Eby and Coach Hill and Coach Supan as well, Coach Mitch Supan, for just being the coaching staff that they are, coaching staff of the year in the Great Lakes region. And I want to thank you, for coming by and watching all of our projects. This is a testament to what we've done here this semester. It's a culmination of 16 weeks, hard work and dedication to this class, and we just hope as a class that you enjoyed what we put together. And I hope I was able to shed light on a team that I'm passionate about and my group of friends. And I also want to thank my team at this time for putting up with me for the past 4 years. It's been a lot of fun. And again, thanks for coming by. Much love.